All right, I think we're live on Facebook. Looks like we're live on Instagram. Give me just a second to get everything squared away. Let's get this sent out on Twitter. Forgot about that. And Twitter's out. Nicole, good evening to you. How are you? Elise, good evening from Wheaton. Hello. Chris is here. Good evening, sir. How are you? Out on the West Coast. Probably still out trick-or-treating now on the West Coast, aren't you? You take the little ones out and get a score. I know I saw your wife made some very nice vegan real candy. So good job for that. I was proud of you guys. I saw that on your wife's Instagram. I saw Jenny, take care of the kids and make sure you're eating good, healthy food. So good on you, man. I bet it looked good. Homemade Snickers and Milky Way, was it? Or something, I forget what it was, but homemade Snickers at least. So, let's see who else we have. Tammy's here. Hello. She's from Plainfield, right? Alicia, hello. June, hi. Kim, hello. Roxanne at Elk Grove, Illinois, good evening to you. Karen from Long Island, good evening. Carrie popped in over on Instagram, hello. Pittsburgh checking in. Tallahassee, Katie's here. Kathleen's here. Ann's here. Happy Halloween. Lee's here. Lisa's here from Florida. Very fun. Twitter's going crazy. Yeah, I didn't have any candy either, Carrie. Didn't want it. I just put a post on Facebook and Connect, kind of explaining my mindset with candy. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't need it, and I certainly don't need a holiday as an excuse to go have it. If I wanted it, I would have had it yesterday. I don't need to have it tonight just because it's Halloween. So, Katie, good evening to you. Diane, let's see, I think I got you. Jennifer, hello. One of the things I've noticed about the Facebook group is, it seems like when I'm done the Facebook Live, I go back and kind of read the comments. And for some reason, every once in a while, I don't see some of the comments on the Facebook feed, but I see them in the after the feed. So if I miss you, it's probably a Facebook issue. Chris, thanks. Medium T-shirt. Corey Kent White. I'll talk about him. Corey Kent White is he was on The Voice. He's a country singer, amazing dude. He's going to come up to Indiana and play for us a little bit, working on a show here. He's a huge supporter of the Fold, so you know my deal. You support me, I support you. So, Corey, shout out to you if you're listening. I'm sure you're not. Corey's about this big, so very fun. Let's see. So Linda's checking in from Fort Wayne. Beth is here from Kansas. David, how are you, sir? Vicky's here. Jennifer and Jan. Jennifer says, Happy Halloween. Candy versus Jennifer, and Jennifer won. Not a single piece eaten. Very nice. Therese, happy to see you. New York, Mary's checking in. Matt's here. Good evening. Matt's hooking me up with some technical expertise. So one of the things I'm not good at is the technical. I told you last night I want to get I want to really produce, do a couple more microphones to the show, add some guests. I need a mixer board. I need all kinds of equipment that I don't even know what I need at this point. And so Matt reached out and shot me some emails on some other options that I hadn't considered. So South Burbs of Chicago. David also is here. Niagara, Canada's in the house. That's the most beautiful side of the falls, right, Carla? Good evening. And that officially, again, makes this an international show. I always like to point that out. How fun is that? Denise said no candy in this house. Happy Halloween. Georgia, April's checking in. Let's go ahead and get this show rolling, because what I want to do, I want to give a recap of my day. I think it's going to be a shorter show than normal, but I got a kind of a little bit of a format I want to follow. I want to kind of get right to it. Maybe I can get to bed a little early tonight. That's kind of the goal. So we'll see. It's been a long day. It's been an emotional day. I've had just a lot going on. So let's go ahead and jump right into the show. Get that rolling first, and then If we get done super early, I'll come back and catch up on all the comments. Looks like there's a ton that I missed. So very, very fun. All right, so is that cool? Let's get the show rolling. Because that's what you're here for, right? Or are you just here to hang out? If you're here to hang out, that's cool too. Dan says the Jets are playing, the World Series is on, and so is FatDag. That's a hard decision, right? Do you watch the Jets? Do you watch the World Series? Or do you take care of your health? I'm pretty sure no one, and no offense, Dan, right? I certainly don't mean to offend you, but I'm pretty sure no one from the Jets or World Series cares if you're listening or watching them tonight. But I care that you're here because you've taken care of you. So it's up to you where you want to spend your time. But I would spend your time with someone who actually wants to spend time with you. The Jets, they're cool. The World Series, that's pretty cool. But, those guys, they're not sitting there watching to see if you're paying attention. But I'm paying attention. And I'm proud of you for taking care of you. Let's see. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get... oops. A little bit of audio. Mic check, testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3. Sound wave looks good. I was telling Matt, one of the things that I want to do is I would like to get away from... I use the computer behind me to record the audio, and that's a kind of an older computer. I got a computer up here as well. It's kind of a newer one. But the one behind me is the one that catches all the audio, and it's old. So, I kind of want to get away from having to record audio into the computer. So, woohoo! Lee, first time here with FatDag. Woohoo! Very FatDag Live. Utah's checking in. Cheers. Let's get episode... Well, this doesn't have an episode number. I guess we could call this 136. We can do that. Let's do cheers. Another Ontario... So we've now gone international on Facebook, and we're international on Instagram. Cool. All right. Cheers. I don't know how, I'm not making fun, but I don't know how you cannot think this is the coolest, best thing on the planet. Just pure water. It's fantastic. All right, you ready? Episode 135. I'm going to need one of these. Oh, here's something cool. Check this out. I keep all the scripts from when we've done the show. Look at this. So this is, 120, 135, 135. So that's pretty fun. But I save them. I don't know. I don't know why. I do. So. So Instagram says, feel so electric right now watching the first Saw movie, listening to wise advice. So very cool. Good job. And let's see. Hackensack, New Jersey. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's do it. I am your host, FatDag, and you're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, and your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello, welcome to a very special episode of Wise Advice, and we'll call this probably episode 135B, maybe a bonus episode to 135. We'll call it 136. I don't know. I'll figure out what number I want to give it when the show's all done, but I want to spend today, this episode specifically recapping my day today. Operation FatDag continues to be a huge success because of you. That's right, because of your involvement in what we've done here. We're completely having an impact on our nation's military, on the defense of our nation, if you really want to kind of get global with it. But it was absolutely an amazing day for me. And I told you before, if you haven't already, what you probably want to do is you probably want to press pause on this episode. Go listen to episode 54, because I'm not going to recap the entire talk. I may hit bits and pieces of it. But episode 54, the second half of 54, will let you know exactly the message that I delivered today to the United States Army. It didn't deviate very far from what I said in episode 54. I added a little bit to it today, which I'll kind of cover as we go through the show. But if you haven't already, go listen to episode 54, come back and pick up where we are right now. It'll put you in the right frame of mind. But so, as you know, episode 54 talks about my struggle in the military. And, I believe that, karma, you get in life what you put into it. And karma's not always bad. So for a long time, I think for 20-some years I've been in the military. I've been overweight. I've been in for almost 26 years now, still actively serving. 20 of them I've been overweight. And so I often wondered, especially now looking back, man, why wasn't I kicked out of the military? I was clearly not meeting the fitness standard. I was completely ignoring, even to take the test at some point. I went for 2.5 years without a current fitness assessment. I really should have been disciplined. And that discipline should have led me to being separated, because had I been disciplined the way the military disciplines folks for failing to meet the standard, I think it would have forced my brain into further denial, and it probably would have been very catastrophic for me. So I believe that somewhere something was taking care of me because there was a greater plan, and this is that plan unfolding. So karma isn't always bad. I think I had to purposely live as a military member overweight. I think I had to purposely understand the full mindset, because largely the resource that we're now providing back, it didn't exist. And so I think the plan is that we're now going to develop a resource for people who are in the military who are struggling with their weight and their fitness. And it all starts here with Operation FatDag, because they needed, and I needed, someone who truly understood the journey. Because if you truly understand the journey and you're able to walk that journey with somebody else, you have a much better chance of reaching them. I had to understand the mindset, so I knew how to deliver the message in a way that they would understand it and hear it. In a way that if I was sitting in that chair, which I should have been, I would have been able to understand it and hear it. So I now know why I was never kicked out of the military, because there's a greater plan for me. And it played out today once again. This was my third time talking to a group of Army soldiers. I told you before, the Indiana Army National Guard here does an amazing job of working with their soldiers to try and retain them. Indiana National Guard is the fourth largest National Guard in the country, and the retention of our military members, fitness, is up there as the number one issue that we face for people who are being separated from the military. Every year we lose more people to fitness than any other thing that we lose people out of the military for. So it's a huge problem that we have to address, But sadly, there aren't enough resources to figure out the mindset to get to the point where we can make a difference. So the Indiana National Guard, they have an amazing program where they recognize folks who are struggling, and they bring them in, and for 10 days they bring them into this room, and they teach them all about nutrition. They teach them all about fitness. They teach them all about resiliency. They really, really pour their heart into this program to let them know that they matter. And on day 9, I come in, the day before their final fitness assessment. I come in and I share my story. I share episode 54 with them, and I say, hey, here's what I did. Here's my story. Here's how I struggle. I have a food addiction. I don't think a lot of people frame when we're overweight that I don't think it's commonly referred to as a food addiction. But for me, it absolutely was, and I beat it. And I want nothing more for other people to recognize. Let's put a name to this so that we can actually address what it is. So I woke up this morning just about like any other day, getting ready to go to work, and but it was different because I knew I was going to spend the day with this group of 44 Army soldiers. And I got some, real quick, I'll give you a side note. I got some intel while I was down there. This program currently has about a 45% success rate, which is phenomenal. So everyone who enters this program, about 45% of them make it through and completely change their lives. That's phenomenal. I was so glad to hear that number was as high as it was, because you truly don't know. For 10 days they sit there, you don't know if you're reaching them or not. And certainly I come in the last of the, day 9 of day 10, so my 30 minutes, it certainly doesn't make or break the program. All I can do is deliver a message of hope. Let them know that I believe in them. So I'm glad to hear that it's a 45% success rate. I hope that the number continues to climb. And not only do I hope that, I'm going to work my tail off to make sure that number does and deliver the message. So I woke up this morning ready to go, ready on fire to go deliver this message. I asked you previously for some help. As you know, in my journey, one of the things that was most critical to it is that I didn't know where to turn. I reached out for wingman after wingman, looking for anybody who would help me in this journey. And I got a little bit of support, but where I really, really found the most support was with the folks in the Weight Watcher app and Connect. I put that first post out there saying, help, I need help. I'm getting ready to be separated from the military. I don't know what to do. And the Connect community rallied behind me and started following along and encouraging me. They showed me other people who were winning. And you taught me that I could win too. And then you told me you believed in me, and long before I believed in myself. So it was that community that led me to where we are today. So I simply asked you, I said, I'm going to go deliver this talk, and the talk I'm going to start off with, so I'm going to say, I open my talk with, I'm not a fitness expert, I'm not a healthy eating coach, I'm an airman, and I'm a mess. And I'm going to tell you one thing and one thing only as I start this talk. You don't have to be here. That's right. You don't have to be in a place where you're addicted to food. You don't have to be in a place where you're overweight. You don't have to be in a place where you're struggling. So over the next 30, 40 minutes as I was talking to them, I just said at the end of this talk, I'm only really going to tell you one thing, and that's you don't have to be here. I believe that you can change your life. If you truly want to change your life, I'm going to tell you how I did it. You're going to have to develop your own plan within that framework. But I believe that it's possible because I did it, and I know you can do it as well. So I want to deliver that message of belief. I want them to understand that what they're trying to do is possible, and I believe with every fiber of my body that it is possible for anybody who's willing to take the chance and do it. But I need a little help in that, because delivering that message is, it sounds kind of hokey. I get a lot of email from folks saying, the first time you told me you believed in me, I just thought, who is this guy who's crazy saying, yeah, you believe in me? So I want help from the Connect community to say, not only do I believe in you, but there are people all over the country who don't even know you, who believe in you. So I reached out to the Connect community. I said, simply send me a card of motivation. I'll hand deliver it. I will hand it to the group. I will tell them that you believe in them as well. Amazing, amazing, amazing support from you guys. I cannot tell you, the stack of cards was a foot tall or taller. I purposely saved them until the morning of my talk. I don't open them. I don't do anything with them. As they come in, I just set them off to the side and I let them sit there. Because I know that I need to channel your energy and give it back to them in a way that they need to understand it, because I know what it's like having to look for that inspiration. So I look at some of these envelopes. Some of you guys are absolutely amazing. You decorate the envelopes. You write all over them. Many of the cards are homemade. Many of them are very patriotic in nature. I took a bunch of photos of them as I was opening this morning. So I come down this morning, I grab the stack of cards, and one by one I start opening them. And I open them because I really want to understand your mindset as well. And I want to make sure that the message that you've asked me to deliver, I deliver properly. So one by one, I'm opening the cards and some of the amazing stories that are in there. The amazing words of encouragement that you put out. That I've read letters of people who were down 20 pounds, people who were down 150 pounds. I think 174 pounds I saw in this list. I read stories of someone who lost both of their parents at age 66. And here she was, age 65, making sure she doesn't repeat that family legacy. I read stories of people who were on medication for blood pressure, for diabetes, and now they're completely off it. I've read people telling you, I believe in you, you can do this. And I couldn't help but think as I was reading them, I wonder if those who wrote in took a moment to reread what they wrote as if someone else had written it to them. Because the amount of support and encouragement in these letters, it's impossible for someone to read the stack of cards and not be inspired. So I encourage you, the next time we do this, it's going to be in January, but the next time I do this, I'm going to ask you for your cards, but I'm going to put a little different spin on it this time. I'm going to say, I want you to write out a card, and I want you to address it to yourself. Read it to yourself and pretend someone else has written it to you, and then send it off after. Because as I sat here and read them, it was just absolutely, amazing to see that there are so many people who are incredibly successful because they know why they're doing it and they have the support to get it done. So thank you for that. There's a couple I put on Connect. I put one that was very, very inspiring. It was exactly what I was looking for. And then there was this one that I'm going to read to you. Diane out of New York sent me a note. And if you remember, she was on the program a little while ago. And she says, hi, FatDag. Hi, not FatDag. This is Diane from New York. I wrote to tell you 2 weeks ago that I was on your show when I hit my 10%. I'm still doing well with the blue dots each day. As a reminder, I'm the daughter of a 92-year-old World War II veteran. This note is to tell you that I took your advice, and we just returned from a visit to the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. We all loved the visit, and it exceeded our expectations. Several visitors thanked my dad for his service, and one woman took his picture to share with her son. It brought tears to his eyes. Thank you so much for your encouragement to visit this memorial. I had never known of it until your suggestion on the podcast. Enclosed is a photo from that day with my dad. I've also enclosed a card for Operation FatDag, and I hope I didn't miss the deadline. With much appreciation for all you do for our country and for our Weight Watchers community, I am sincerely yours, Diane from New York. Diane, I just, for the folks on Facebook, and Instagram, I showed them the photo that Diane sent of her and her World War II veteran father standing at the World War II Memorial in front of the New York State Monument. And for me now to know that a World War II veteran who gave so much for this country had an opportunity to visit this memorial simply because of this Connect community, that stopped me this morning. It stopped me in my tracks, and it just made me sit back and understand exactly what we're doing all together. And it was just, it was absolutely incredible. So Diane, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for your special note. And I really appreciate everything that you sent in. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all that you've done. Thank your dad for his amazing service and sacrifice to this nation. What a true hero. What an amazing hero. So thank you for that. So here we go. I finished reading the cards, and I got all squared away. And I went upstairs, and into my closet, I grabbed my Air Force Blue uniform. The last time I wore it, I think, was the last time I spoke to this group. And no hesitation, I just went upstairs, I showered, got ready for work. I put on the uniform, not even questioning if it was going to fit or not. I put it on. I packed up my stuff. Nokia, as you guys know, I talk about Nokia all the time. I'll tell you why I do. They donated 3 scales for this effort. They sent me, just randomly, found it on Twitter. We communicate pretty regularly. They sent me 3 scales that I could give to the members there. I gave 2 away today. I have a special use for a 3rd one that I'm going to talk about later. But they just, these things are anywhere from $60 to $180, and they just sent them to me because they believe in this effort as well. So not only do I have the support from the Connect community, I have support from corporate partners. We're truly together making a difference. I continue to say, if you support me, I support you. But this was an amazing day for sure. It's the highlight of my journey so far, and I want to tell you a little more about it. As I got in the car this morning, I started driving down. It's about a 45-minute drive for me in the morning. I woke up. I got in the car. The first thing I did is I put in the podcast. I listened to episode 54 on my drive down. I wanted to make sure that armed with all the information that you put in your cards, plus the message that I delivered previously, I wanted to make sure that when we have an opportunity to speak, that we would make sure the message was delivered properly so that it would sink in. I got up to the front of the room, and just like I said, I looked at the group. There's an amazing introduction. The sergeant there introduces me as a person who's been where they are. And I can tell you, it was a little weird for me because I don't feel like anything special. I just feel like someone who just needed some help and figured it out. So I walk again to the front of the room and said, I'm an airman. I'm not a fitness expert. I'm not a healthy eating coach. I'm a mess. I have a food addiction. I should have been kicked out of the military, but I believe that I wasn't because I believe I'm here to make sure that I can save your career as well. I want to deliver the message to you to let you know that you actually can do this. And so I talked about my journey. I talked about the fact that, when I struggled with my fitness test, the very first time back in 1997 was the first time I remember being overweight, not being able to transfer with my unit. As the guys that I deployed with time and time again transferred one by one to a new unit, I was unable to do that. I told him that story. I told him that as I went to recruiting school that I had to sit there in the morning and go to the gym too early and sacrifice by only eating, grilled chicken breast for many, many weeks so I could just lose enough weight to get down to the point where I could pass a fitness test. I let them know that as successful as my military career had been, national awards, meritorious service medals, commendation medals, all kinds of amazing awards, but it means absolutely nothing if you don't do the rest of your job and you're not able to serve. It doesn't matter how good you are at your job if part of your job is completely being neglected. So we talked about that. It doesn't matter how successful it was. There was a very dark secret that I had, and that was my food addiction that was keeping me down. I think oftentimes we don't talk about this. It's kind of that undercurrent of what's going on in the military where people just need help. And I was in that group. I talked about struggling with the test. I talked about failing the test. When in fact I really wanted nothing more than to pass the test. I'm a good airman, and I just have this addiction that I couldn't get under my head, couldn't get my head around. And so I just kept going and just kept doing whatever it is that I could do. I told him that when I thought that I could pass the test and I started doing better, that I slipped again. And I went through a second round of failing a fitness test. Something I promised my general that I would never, ever do again. And here I was breaking that promise. I talked about the mental struggle of me thinking that if I just fell down a flight of stairs before a fitness test, that maybe I wouldn't have to test. I talked about going to a spa and getting a seaweed wrap, hoping that maybe I could lose enough inches to pass this test. And I told them that all of this didn't have to be. It was my own internal struggle. I continued on, and I continued to let them know that even though I had periods of time where I was able to lose enough weight to pass the test, I never completely changed my lifestyle to make that permanent. I reminded them that, part of my job is a fitness assessment. It's no different than making sure that the planes land safely. It's no different than to make sure that, that as a recruiter, people get the most accurate information, the paperwork is done properly so that we have a sustainable force. And then I told them about hitting rock bottom and not taking a test for 2 years and just going on, and the complete mental struggle. And then I left them with the mindset of I found a wingman. I found someone who believed in me. I found someone who understood exactly where I was at and was willing to walk with me. And even that wasn't good enough. Sure, it was great. It got me to the point where I passed the test, but as soon as that wingman subsided, after getting me to the goal, I went back to my old ways. I went back to my old habits, and the vicious cycle continued to go. So we talked about all that, and I could tell as I looked across the room, it was very interesting for me. I've had an opportunity to speak to audiences before, and I can honestly tell you, this was the first time as I was delivering the talk, I looked across the room, and everywhere I looked, I saw two eyeballs looking back at me. No one was on their phone. No one was drifting off. The complete attention was there. That fueled me even more because that let me know that they were listening, they understood it, and we were making a difference together. And I hadn't even brought out the ace in the hole yet. I just kept telling them all about my journey and how I was able to finally get to a point where I am now, where I've broken the addiction. Now I'll always struggle with it, but I have complete control over it. I recognize it. And then I ended the talk and I said, I believe in you. Not only do I believe in you, but in South Carolina, there's someone who believes in you. In Canada, there's someone who believes in you. In Puyallup, Washington, there's someone who believes in you. In Florida, there's someone who believes in you. In North Dakota, there's someone who believes in you. In New York, there's someone who believes in you. These people don't even know you. And I reached into this stack of cards. Hundreds of cards. There were 44 people in the room. I reached into this stack of hundreds of cards and I started passing them out. And I said, I want you to read these stories of people who are struggling and have won and are winning. And I passed the cards out. And as I looked around the room, easily every single person had 3, 4, 5 of them. And the talk ended. And that was the end. And I stick around for a little bit to kind of gauge the feeling. And just like the last time, they're dismissed when I'm done when the talk. They're done for the day or for the afternoon. No one got up. Every single one of them sat there reading the cards that you sent in. And you could just see the words on the cards jumping into their brain. You could see the fact that they got it. You can see that together we completely changed lives here. We're making a difference on this journey. the talk completely ended, and at the very end, people were, it was really weird for me because I've never been in a scenario where at the end of the show, I was just getting ready to walk out the door. That's just, I delivered the message. I delivered your message. It's time for me to go. And as I went to leave, the Sergeant Chad was there, and he goes, "Hey guys, would you like to have your photo taken with Sergeant Daggett?" And I was like, that was kind of weird for me. And so they all got up, all 44, and they rather quickly got to the front of the room in pure military fashion. We took a couple photos together. It was the highlight of my day because it was just so fun to be in a group of peers with people who understand me, and I understand them. And I'm never going to forget a couple things that I heard. People asked me, it's like, how did you break the addiction, and how did you do it? And I just kind of gave them, I just kind of gave, here's what I did. Here's what worked for me. And one gal came up to me and she said, "I got to tell you, I'm stubborn. I'm a stubborn old brain. And you broke through. I get it now." And when she said that to me, I said, that's all I wanted to do. That was all I wanted to do, was I wanted to make sure that if we reach one person, and one person completely changes their life, that one person exponentially reaches out and helps another, and it continues to grow. It was absolutely an amazing day. And you guys made this all possible. The folks listening to the podcast, the folks listening and working through this journey on Connect, the folks who are live on Facebook, the folks who are live on Instagram, all of us together. You don't know how impactful your words are, how impactful your simple presence is. It just continues to remind all of us that we are doing amazing work. It's crucial work, and we need each other to do it. So I thank you absolutely from the bottom of my heart for making this possible. In the link to the show notes of this show, I will put the event calendar. That event calendar will let you know I'm on the regular rotation for this group. Seems like the next opportunity to speak will be in January. So you can bet in January I'm going to reach back out to you and say, I could use some more cards. And just send them in, and I will deliver your message of hope and inspiration and encouragement. And I want you at that point, between now and then, I want you to be working on your journey. I want you to stay focused on what it is that you're trying to do. Helping other people is amazing, but you've got to help others first. And when you reach out to help other people, something magical happens. You're the one that ends up getting help. A good friend of mine, Dan Rooney, always says that. He goes, when you reach out to help other people, something magical happens, and you find out you're the one that gets the help. So what I want you to do between now and January specifically, we're coming up on the holiday season. For a lot of people think that this is the hardest time of the year. So I'm going to offer and issue a challenge to you at this point. I'm going to come to you in January. I'm going to ask for letters. I'm going to ask for support and encouragement. And what I need from you is I need you to have a strong story to tell. I need you to have words that are so powerful, so impactful, that as you write them in January, you are extremely proud of every part of your journey. So that as those members read your story in January, they become inspired to change their life. That's what they want to do. You want to change your life. I want to change my life. They want to change their life. We just need to find a way to do it. So can you do that for me? Can you focus between now and January more than you've ever focused? Dig deeper than you ever have. And say, what does January look like for me? If I stay focused between now and January, what does January look like? I just told you it was possible. I just told you hundreds of people sent me in cards and says that they did it for the many, many months ahead. So there's no difference in the next 3 or 4 months. It's the same healthy living lifestyle that you've always done. That will carry you to goal. That will completely change the world. That will change every aspect of your journey. It'll change every aspect of my journey. It'll change every aspect of their journey. And in January, when we have this talk again, we will continue to celebrate. Celebrating's fun. Thank you for listening to this very special episode of Wise Advice, where we talk about the Operation FatDag Recap. But as you have things that you want to celebrate, I want to share them. I want to share them with our community. Let's share them on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on Listen Now, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations, because just like the hand letters and cards that I delivered today, your emails do the exact same thing to a much larger community. Those emails continue to remind other people that what they're doing is possible, and I want you to be so proud of your journey that you can't help but write it in and share it with the world. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. So, that was my day. Pretty, and I didn't even talk about, then our Weight Watchers meeting after. I meant to bring that in, but yeah, and then until I got home from the talk, came home and then went to my Weight Watchers meeting, and just an amazing day. So, thank you for being a part of it. I forgot to turn the mic off. Hang on. There we go. Boy, that would have recorded all night. So, but isn't this cool? I mean, this is right. It really completely got to me when I got that today, that, here's a World War II veteran who had no idea that there was a memorial in his honor, living in New York. So it's, it's an easy drive, I would suspect. And man, they made it. I mean, you could just see the smiles on his face. I don't know if you guys saw it, but man, that smile is it's just absolutely incredible. Look at the smile. I'm going to do Facebook first. Look at those smiles. Right? Isn't that crazy? So, I don't know, just truly amazing. I didn't sign up for any of this. I tell you, when I started this journey, I was just hoping to lose 20 pounds. That was the goal. I was hoping to lose 20 pounds, go eat some Buffalo Wild Wings and celebrate, and just get through the next 2.5 years of my career. That was all. That was my goal. You guys showed me something greater. Showed me that something more magical was out there. So thanks for that. So with that, let's go ahead and I'll turn this over to you guys. What is it that you want to talk about? What do you want to discuss? You got a little bit of time here before we call it up for the night, but I just really appreciate it. Tammy says your sincerity made me cry, and challenge accepted. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really I didn't mean to put it, that just kind of came to me. What I don't want to have happen is I asked for cards in January and everybody goes, yeah, no, I don't have anything good to write. So I'm kind of hoping that come January you have something very special to share, and that was kind of the thought behind that. So very fun. Let's see. Kathy, 50.2 pounds down. Good job. Very fun. Yeah, Jamie had tears as well. I almost did. I decided to hold them back, though. Cool. In on the challenge. I saw earlier someone posted it. It kind of scrolled by pretty quick, but someone looks like they issued a hashtag for the challenge. Did we do that? I didn't know if... I don't think we need one, but I thought I saw a hashtag scrolling through in there. And I agree. Ann said, I'd like you to get a good night's sleep. Man, that would be fun. That was the meeting topic, right? If the meeting topic today, this week in the meeting room, is getting enough sleep. So that's my next goal. It's just hard, because I don't do this till 10. It takes me a little while, but we'll figure something out. Focus January. That was Vicky says. Focus January. All right. Focus January it is. Debbie, good night. Early start for the NICU tomorrow. Good night for sure. Ellen says we are writing in our minds already. We will do it for sure. Yep, Ellen, very cool. I loved your cards today. I don't remember them, which ones they were, but you sent a nice stack. That I remember as I read them. I remember your name popped up, and I was like, "This girl rocks." So thank you so much. That was the fun thing too. Honestly, is as I was opening the cards this morning. I mean, every time many of the names I recognized. And that was just so fun for me because it was like, really, it was like getting cards from friends and family, and it was kind of really cool. And one of the things I figured out on this process and this journey for me is that I've always been about the connection. That's the piece that I struggle with more than anything is making a true connection. And the audience, unfortunately, is so large at this point, which is cool. But that's the one thing that I struggle with is that I can't interact and connect the way I really would. In an ideal world, it'd be nice to have 7 people that were super duper tight, and I knew all the names and families and knew everything about every single person, and we just worked together. But I've kind of lost the ability to do that, and so that's the one piece of all this that I wish I could figure out a way to fix, and I just can't. So. But it was fun today as I was opening the cards. Almost every single name that came through there I recognized, and it was really, really enjoyable for me to see that. So thank you for that. Teresa says, come January you'll have a goal to share minus 110 so far. Man, that's gonna be fun. Fun. David, good night. Thank you, sir, for always being here. Keith, yeah, I saw that today too, Keith. Keith, 20 months, 73 pounds gone. He went to the doctor today, and or you go yesterday, I forget it was today or yesterday. He went to the doctor and got on the scale, and they pointed out, hey, you're at 73 pounds lost. So, amazing. When's the last time you lost 73 pounds on accident? Doesn't happen. Yep. Kim, I saw yours in there too, for sure. Chris, good night. Yeah, it was good to be in your neck of the woods, even for briefly. Let's see. Scrolling through your comments. Ellen, yes, right. That was you. Yes. I think, yeah, the Wayupsep card was with the glitter was very, very creative. I loved it. I was like, yeah, this is fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, I didn't have a drop. So all of our Halloween candy's gone. I didn't have a single bite of it. You go on to Facebook, Wise Advice Facebook page, FatDag, or on to Connect. I'll kind of give you a recap of my Halloween. And the gist is I don't need a holiday. I don't need to overeat just because it's a holiday. That's the gist. So if you'd like to, go ahead and do that. That's up to you, and that's your journey. My journey didn't require it. So go ahead and read those 2 posts. It's one post, but read the post I put on Connect. It's out there right now. It's my most recent post. And it's also on Facebook. Let's see. Dan says, today was the first day in a while that you focused on what I had to do. I need this podcast. You're welcome. You need a wingman. We're here for you. Thank you, and thank you for your service. I'm Canadian. Both my grandfathers were in World War II. One was a POW in Hong Kong for 3 years and 8 months. Your brother's in the Canadian Forces and has a tour in Afghanistan and Kuwait. You have a friend in the Michigan National Guard, a cousin in the Marines, a great uncle was in the Army and Army Air Corps in World War II, and then Dan, your comment cuts out. But what an amazing family history that is. Very, very, very cool. So thank your entire family for their service and sacrifice to our nation and to our country and to our planet. So very, very fun. Canadian Forces, military, Air Force, U.S. Forces. Very, very fun. Jennifer, I can't wait for you to share your successes in January, down 87 so far. But I think you're sharing an 87-pound loss now. That's incredible work, right? Don't wait till you get to, a goal to celebrate. Celebrate now. Celebrate every single day. Karen says, I try to write with leaving out the brand name of our program from the heart. Oh yeah. So, yeah, that's, that was the a lot of folks said, which is perfectly fine. I'm not going to not promote how we do it. One of the things I can't really tell them they have to join Weight Watchers because it's just, it's just contractual. I go in as a military member. I can't go and say you must join Weight Watchers. Plus, they already have a program. I certainly tell them that that's how I did it. I don't hide that information. I just can't tell them to join. So, in the cards and letters, the ones that were the most impactful were those that which just said, you can do this. I believe you can do it. That type of stuff. So, very, very cool. Sylvia over on Instagram says, can't stop eating candy. You're afraid to weigh in. Well, so you weigh the same whether you hop on the scale or not. So what I want you to do is, it's very easy at this point just to say, you know what, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to just go own whatever it is. It's just a number. And if you get on the scale tomorrow and the number's up a little more, you know what caused it. What an amazing gift that is you know exactly what caused. So many people get on the scale and they don't know why. You at least know why. And then you can then go, okay, now that I know, I can set a plan where it doesn't happen again and I can continue to change. So don't worry about it. So here's what I put it on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go look at my latest post on Instagram, right? It said, so many people are afraid of the scale when you really should be afraid of heart disease. You should be afraid of diabetes. You should be afraid of stroke. When's the last time we saw on the news that a scale attacked somebody? It's never happened. When's the last time we saw a zombie apocalypse? It's never happened. So all these things that we're afraid of are just false fears. And the things we should be afraid of, we ignore. Go get on the scale and own it. And take that ownership to change your life. You just heard that it's possible. Go do it. April says, no candy here. I treated myself to new sneakers. Trick or treat. Here's new sneakers. Very fun. Yeah, Jen, I admittedly, I haven't caught too much up on the news. I saw a couple of things pop in about a tragedy in New York City. I haven't had a chance to digest what's going on there yet. But yeah, I understand that at this point, New York City needs prayers. So prayers obviously absolutely out to New York City. When I'm done the show, I'll catch up with a little bit what's going on up there. Lori down another 1.4, 15.8 since August, down 38 since February. Amazing. Yeah, Karen says no candy for you either, no trick-or-treaters, so all good. Willa said, totally blew it today. I let the candy get the best of me. I just brushed my teeth and I'm going to bed. I wish you all and myself great focus. Yeah, you owned it. No big deal. So it's no big deal, but what you want to do is just understand what happened, and then next year go, okay, now what could I have done differently? Because you can't change anything. But when next year comes around, what could I do differently for this event? Or if this event comes up later on this year, what can I do differently? So you didn't blow anything. If you would have blown it, you wouldn't have tuned into the podcast tonight. You'd be off somewhere doing something different because you wouldn't care. You clearly care. So you didn't blow anything. You're doing great. Penny, thank you. You rock. Yeah, you rock more than I rock. Jennifer says, I celebrate a new me every day because I can do so much more between now and January. Yeah, you totally can. Totally can. This looks pretty cool. Jill says, gave out 80 water bottles tonight. You got so many kids thanking me that they would have hung out in the driveway drinking water. That's a neat Halloween gift. It was fun to see, and you had a girl say, I was looking forward to your house again this year. Water, it started out as a silly thing to do, and now you do it, and you did not expect it to be so well received. So yeah, kids totally rock. And so that's what's fun, right? You know, the whole planet rocks if you find and shift your focus to the fun stuff. If you concentrate on looking for all the amazing things that are out there, the list is far longer than the negative stuff. But we have to look past the negative stuff and look at the amazing things and seek them out. They're out there. And that's another example, Jill. Thank you. Yeah, Alicia, you know, you're not the first person to suggest it. And I'm sure, I mean, clearly we're not the first people to think of this, but it would be absolutely crazy if Weight Watchers and the military partnered somehow. You know, it would, ding, no brainer. I'm sure, you know, I don't even know. I'm sure the Weight Watcher folks, you know, at the headquarters, I'm sure they've thought this through, right? I mean, they want everyone to join, right? That's their business. So I'm sure they've looked at every possible avenue, and, you know, maybe this is the start of how getting that to be done. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, Keith, you know, I'm afraid to read the news. You know, it's funny. The first thing I thought of was you when I saw New York. My Twitter, I get a lot of my news, at least headlines through Twitter. So Twitter popped up and said New York City, and Keith, honestly, the first thing I thought of was you, and I was like, my brain was going, this is that whole connection thing. My brain's like, okay, I know he's in New York. You know, how close to wherever this is happening is he? And I didn't know. And so, then I saw a couple posts from you, so I knew everything was okay. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Yep. Angie says the scale does not show the inches lost or the smaller sizes in clothing or the confidence gained with all the weight you've lost. Come to terms with the scale, not skipping another way in. It's just a scale. It's just a number. Let's see. Jamie says, you owned my Saturday, wasn't going to track, but decided to own it, and you did. 90 points, and now the rest of my week has been honestly planned and tracked around my honest tracking on Saturday. Whether I tracked or not, I ate the points. May as well track it. Yep, exactly. 28 out of 31 blue dots. That's an amazing month. Good job. Good job. Yeah, so again, you know, water is a great gift for Thanksgiving. So very, very fun. Well, cool. Let's wrap this up. I'm down to the bottom of comments. You know, it's actually a short show because Instagram hasn't timed out yet, which is odd, right? Usually we only get an hour on Instagram, so we've only been probably I don't even know how long we've been, but it's got to be close to an hour. But I think that's good. I think we got it wrapped up. I think the intent was for me to let you know that I thank you so much for trusting me with your message and letting me deliver your message and for giving me a message to deliver. So thank you for that. I hope you have a great night. You know, I always will say this journey has nothing to do with luck. It's clearly all about focus. Go stay focused. You know, don't wish for things to happen. Go make them happen. It's that simple. And it's not that difficult. We make it harder than it needs to be. So go check it out. Over on last minute 49 on Instagram. Michael says down 75 pounds, swimming 1.5 miles a day, had a doctor appointment yesterday. Glucose A1C dropped from 14 2 years ago to 5.9. Cut 3 medications in half, feeling healthy. Is there anything more important than that? Man, way to go. Way to go. So, all right, well, that's going to do it. I will write that down in my book as I close out, Michael, for cutting all your stuff down. But Instagram's going to time me out. So I'll get that written in the book. You'll see it tomorrow night when we come back online. That'll be the first thing we talk about. But thank you again for being here. Have a great night. Go get it done. I wish you tons and tons and tons of focus. Have a good night. Thank you.